All right, everyone, welcome back and hope everyone is having a great day. We are your hosts, Luigi and Dana, with Let's Move Canada. And on today's podcast episode, we will talk with Jamie Phillips about her role at Pedalheads, what the organization offers for kids and families, and how people across Canada can get involved in their programs. And before we introduce Jamie, as usual, let me start by saying that this podcast is brought to you by Let's Move Canada, whose mission is to make Canada the fittest nation on earth by 2030. And to this end, of course, our podcast aims to raise awareness about physical and mental health. And so on today's episode, we're super excited to introduce someone who knows just how powerful movement can be, especially when it's fun, confidence building, and community driven. Jamie Phillips is the recruitment coordinator at Pedalheads Bike Camps Inc., an amazing Canadian organization that helps kids get active through biking, swimming, trails, sports programs, you name it, across the country. Whether it's helping little ones taking off their training wheels or splashing into swimming lessons or running through soccer drills, Pedalheads is all about creating joyful skill-building experience to help children thrive. Behind the scenes, Jamie plays a very important role in bringing these programs to life by helping recruit and support incredible teams and that actually lead them, right? So with a background in psychology and a passion for meaningful connections, she brings warmth, care, and expertise in every part of her work. Jamie, we're super excited to have you on the show today. And, to not only tell us a little bit about yourself, but also about the amazing work that Pedalheads is doing with families and children. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're super happy to have you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to come and chat for this day.
Awesome. So first of all, we want you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you became involved in Pedalheads in the first place.
Yeah, awesome. So I have been with the company for a little over 6 years now. I actually hit 6 years this past May, so that was really exciting. And I actually started just looking for summer work. I was a university student at the time in Victoria, knowing that I was going to go back to South Surrey for just the summer months and really wanted to find something that related to my psychology degree because I was really focusing on lifespan and development over there, but also something fun, getting out in the sunlight, like not being locked in a grocery store or a movie theater, what some of my other friends were doing. So, yeah, Pedalheads kind of fell into my lap that way.
And for our audience, I mean, I'm sure this is a burning question for those who don't know, but can you tell us a little bit about Pedalheads and can you give us an overview of what the camp is and what the programs are?
Yeah, so at the whole, Pedalheads is a youth recreation company. We have a couple different programs, but I am specifically in the bike and trail side, and those are seasonal summer camps. So they operate at spring break and then obviously in the summer months. And we just teach kids how to ride their bikes. And if they already know how to do that, we really progress their skills and just making sure that they're getting a love of biking.
Sounds like a lot of
Very
fun.
cool. Yes. So, I mean, you can elaborate a little bit because I grew up, my parents just, kind of put me on a bike and were like, go pedal, right? And like, don't
Yeah.
have to fall. And so how do you even begin that? What was the process look like of teaching these kids how to ride a bike?
Yeah, I think one thing that Pedalheads does really well is that we've developed our own type of learning method. We call it the Pedalheads 3Ds, and that just demonstrate, describe, do in that order. So it's really at like the core of all of our teachings across all of our programs. But obviously, for the bike side, it's really big on making sure that all people with different learning styles can actually understand what we're asking them to do. So for demonstrate, you're grabbing everyone's attention and just demonstrating the skill just with your body movements with no words. And that's for those visual learners. Like they really just have to look and see what's happening. Then we have describe, where you get to use your voice, break down the skill step by step. And that's for those auditory learners. Like really let them understand what's happening because they're hearing it. And then the
Mhm.
last one is do for those tactile learners. Let them move their bodies and really just try the skill out and see if it works. And we find that we have really great success with it.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, using the different senses to not only teach but to also learn. I mean, that's really what experiential learning is all about. And
Yeah.
it's nice that, people get to connect in that way. And would you say that, so I know that you've mentioned that there are different seasons. So at any points, do the kids actually stay with you? Do they kind of go home and come in? I mean, throughout the academic year, I could imagine that come and go kind of thing. But what is it like when it comes to the different seasons? What does participation look like for the different seasons?
Yeah, so our camps on the bike and trail side are week-long camps. So we do get the privilege of having the same group of kids for usually about 5 days. Obviously, some are shorter weeks with four with stat holidays and things like that. But we also make sure that we prioritize having the same instructor with those kids for the whole week.
Mm,
That way, it's a really big bonding moment for them. Learning how to ride a bike is really scary for a lot of kids. I was
yeah.
terrified when I was like 5 trying to take those training wheels off. So it's nice for them to have like the same friendly face that they can bond with and get ready for that next step.
So can you tell us a little bit about who, like how old, what age of kids come to these camps and what level, like do some of them already know how to ride a bike? Is this everyone is starting from zero? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we start actually as young as about 2.5, 3 years old.
Oh, that
And
Oh,
for
is
those
so
guys,
young.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
preschool classes. So we actually call it our Future Newbies program because our level one
oh,
is called Newbies. So it's like they're the future people attending. And for those ones, it's very much just a love of biking, making sure that they, understand that a helmet is safe for them and what they should be using. Sometimes it's like teaching them how to pedal because they just don't
Oh.
understand that yet. It is heartwarming. They were my favorite classes to teach when I was on the camp level, actually getting to work with the kids. But then for the older, like kind of core camp, we go about 4 years old on the youngest end up to about 12. We don't usually see too many 12-year-olds, but I
mhm.
think the oldest, we do see a lot of 11-year-olds. So 11 or 12 is kind of the oldest ones.
Oh, that sounds so cute. 2-year-old, 2.5-year-olds biking. Oh my gosh,
It
that
is
sounds
heartwarming.
so
Think of the
cute.
smallest bikes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
like actual tricycles. Like I didn't think that they were still a thing, but I see some kids and I'm like, oh my gosh, we can actually still buy tricycles. Like you don't even have training wheels attached. It's the whole bike.
How many hours in that day is focused on like biking, learning to bike per day?
We try to get as much on bike time as possible. But we do like to do some off bike games as well. But one thing that's really fun about Pedalheads is I like to say we really are a biking focused summer camp because even our off bike activities have some sort of bike theme to them. Like all of our
Mhm.
storybooks that we have are about biking, whether it be helmet safety or a classic is The Bear's Bicycle. It's a really cute story about a bear riding a bike. So they're all cycling related. We even do some like arts and crafts that we've tried to make, bicycle pipe cleaners with the kids. Anything that we can spark biking as their interest, whether it be actually on their bikes or not, we love to do it. But in like a 4 hour class, I would say we aim to have the kids on their bike for like at least 3 of those 4 hours, if not longer, if the kids are up for it.
Oh, very cool.
And what else can parents expect in terms of activities for these camps?
Yeah, every morning of the session, whether it's our AM session or our PM session, we do an off bike game. We call it the Get Going game. And it's really just a chance for all the ages to kind of mix together and play just like a classic gym class game. So we do lots of like Pedalheads, May We Please Cross the Road, which is a fun like calling game. We have a pirate themed one. Sometimes it's just as easy as like freeze dance to get the kids moving and just get their
Right.
bodies ready. And then obviously they break up into their biking classes. But every day of the week, we also have some sort of activity that the kids get to accomplish. So we do a treasure hunt, we do a bike wash and bike parts learning day. We have license plates that the kids get to decorate, and then we actually attach
Uh,
them to their bikes. So lots of like stickers and fun things that they can put on it. And then every Friday, we have a parade where we show off all the skills that the kids learned while they were at camp.
Whoa,
Amazing.
that sounds so fun. I wish I could have
Yeah,
gone to that when I was a little kid. That sounds so
right.
fun.
It's
It
Yeah.
is
such a
so
cool
much fun. We
experience.
sometimes will have people like walking down the street and they just get like drawn to it. And you kind of see them standing by and you're like, oh, do you need something? And they're like, no, I heard the music. I heard kids laughing and I just wanted to see what was going on.
No, I
How about
mean,
is this
you
like
had me at treasure, so you had me at treasure hunt. So
yeah.
it
Oh
just sounds
yeah.
like so much fun.
That does sound fun. Like so does this happen all across Canada? Is there like certain cities that it happens, or how's that work?
For Canada, we're in BC, Alberta, Ontario, and Manitoba, and Quebec
Mm,
also. Not as much in the Maritimes yet, but we have heard that people are hoping for us to get down there soon.
That's very cool. Yeah.
cool. And you started touching on this a little bit, but what other activities are there besides the biking camp?
Yeah, so obviously it slightly depends on the manager. We kind of do give our camp managers a little bit of free range. Obviously, they have to
Mm,
stick within our guidelines of like what parents and caregivers are expecting their kids to learn. But if the manager's willing to make it fun and add some goofiness, then you hear all those, fun stories that come up from camp. I know when I was a manager, when I first started out, we started doing on really hot summer days with our all day campers that were there over lunch, we let them start voting like which instructor gets a bucket of water dumped on their head. And all the kids get to come and help out. And sometimes it'll be like, we'll take a little 30-minute, like, let's just do something back for the community. If we have
hmm
at the time to do so, make cards for the fire department we've done
Oh,
before.
cool. I love
We,
that. That's
they
fun.
sometimes come by because, knock on wood, bike problems. Sometimes, you get a foot stuck in a bike. Didn't know it could happen until I started working with little kids. But sometimes they
Yeah,
get called, and then we just kind of give back to them and say, thank you so much for coming out.
right.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So can you tell us like a fun story that of something that happened at a bike camp that you were at, or
Yeah, I mean, when I think of the fun times, it really is those Friday theme days. We were had the privilege of actually picking some theme days back when I was a manager, and I remember one we did was right around the time that those like inflatable dinosaur costumes were just all the rave. Everyone was wearing them and ordering
Yeah.
them. And we had an instructor that was like, hey, my helmet fits on my head underneath the dinosaur costume. Am I allowed to ride my bike? Because obviously they always have to wear their helmet. And I was like,
Right.
you have to prove to me that it's on and clipped up, but yes. And so we put on some Jurassic Park music, and the kids were kind of like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And then this instructor just came barreling down a hill, full on dinosaur movement, and the kids just absolutely loved it. They were like, "Who is that? There's a dinosaur!" And then only to realize that it was their instructor just made it extra
uh
special for them.
oh,
Yeah,
that's so
that's so
fun.
memorable.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds
it's
like one of
definitely,
those.
we get a lot of extroverted, high energy people, which a lot of like theater kids too really love it. And I think they just love, really making those storylines for the kids so that they think they're really transported somewhere and, not just
Mhm.
in a gravel field or a parking lot somewhere learning how to ride.
Right, right. And this is really interesting because you just mentioned extroverted kids, but how do you find that introverted kids adapt to that environment?
Yeah, it's definitely making sure that they don't feel too overwhelmed.
Hmm
Because, sometimes camp can just be a lot of noises.
hmm
Obviously, we hope that all kids have a great time, but leaving their parents at a summer camp, we're a first summer camp for some kids. So, that saying goodbye to mom and dad can be really sad. So, that's where some of like our arts and crafts bins come into play. My favorite thing to do is grab a kid or a couple kids that are having a little bit of a struggle in the morning and be like, you know what? Let's draw a picture. And that way, when you're done at the end of camp, you can show mom or dad that you were so excited and that you drew this picture of you riding your bike. And then we can go show them you riding your bike.
That
So just
is
something
so
that's a little bit
cute.
more independent work that a kid can do that really just takes their mind off.
It's
Mhm.
amazing. I mean, there's something for everyone. I just love that. I think that's amazing. And
Yeah, it
so
seems like you packed that schedule,
yeah,
Oh
right?
yes, we like minute to minute sometimes. We're like, okay, next drill. Let's go. Let's keep the kids moving and learning all the skills that they're supposed to in the week.
hmm and I love that there's a little bit of flexibility, as well, right? As much as everything is so planned, but there's flexibility planned in there so that if kids are like you mentioned struggling, you can pull them to the side and do something a little bit different. So it just sounds like plans A, B's, and C's all the way through Z are just all set and ready to go. It's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
it's great. We also love the way that our classes, because we're a little bit smaller class size than when you think of some
Mhm.
other summer camps where you could have like 30 kids in a gym with a bunch of instructors kind of all supervising. We really try to stick to like a 5-to-1 on the bike side.
Mm,
And what allows us is that if we have a couple kids that are really progressing well, we can actually continually teach them the next skills. If you sign up for level 1, your kid's not just going to learn how to ride their bike. If they learn on the first day, we're just going to keep progressing them because we may as well have
beautiful.
them get the most out of their week that they can.
Right, right. And speaking of programs, I'm thinking about the soccer and swim programs that you mentioned earlier. But before we transition to that, what can parents or what can families expect their kids to learn beyond those initial stages? So, well, what are maybe some examples of some of the more advanced things that kids do when it comes to biking?
Yeah, we really like to focus on individual riding, but also group riding because most of
Mhm.
the time our road riding classes are also like that 5-to-1 ratio. So they maybe have used to going, bike riding with a single friend or maybe just a single parent, but it's a lot
Mhm.
different riding in a like chain of
Yeah.
5 or 6 people. Sometimes it's upwards of 10 kids all riding on the road together. So making sure we teach them like good spacing, good etiquette when it comes to biking, staying on the road, not on sidewalks. And also, we do some bike tricks once they get old enough to do it and they're confident. Like West Coast dismount is a big one where you like flip your leg up and over your wheel and kind of side saddle on the bike. Sometimes we'll teach them how to obviously bike with only one hand. So, like keeping both hands out, even though hand signals are typically done on your right hand, we want to make sure that a kid can bike with their holding on with their left hand off, just in case. You never know if the
Right.
situation needs it. And then some ramps and wooden equipment are, I think, a really big fun thing that the kids get to do. Every camp has a teeter totter and some wooden ladders that the kids get to try to bike up and over and just feel the different textures and hopefully make it on the whole route.
Sounds really cool. I mean, you get ready for the Tour de France for this. You get ready for
Oh yeah.
camp. It's like it's
I think
really
these
cool.
10-year-old kids know how to are better bikers than I am, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen a 3-year-old be able to hold her hand signals for like 10 seconds and I was like, I don't even know if I'm that confident going that straight in the line at this point. Like
That's
That's
good.
really really cool. So now we mentioned soccer and swim programs earlier. Can you tell us a little bit more about them? I mean, I would imagine those are bigger in size, right? Like more than the 5-to-1 ratio. Tell us a little bit more about them.
Yeah, I'll start with swim first because it's actually our original company. I don't think a lot of people know this, but Pedalheads actually started as Atlantis in Vancouver, and we started out just as swimming lessons. We're more well known for biking now, as that's kind of our company name. But swim is where we got our start. So I think it's really exciting to kind of let people know that swimming is actually our bread and butter of the original program.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And is it
Yeah.
more one-on-one, or does it use the same approach with like a group, and then folks are kind of focusing on their strokes? Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah, so swim, we also have small ratios in swim, which is really nice. We actually aim for 4-to-1 in our swimming program. So
Ah,
it's even a little bit less than bike. And we also do private lessons. So you do have that opportunity to do one-on-one work. Swim just is a lot younger. They can start really, really young, like less than a year old, and do some parent and taught swim classes. So the parents are in the water with their kids. And then again, similar to bike, we go up to about 12 years old on the swimming side.
That do you get are the I guess they'll call them babies. They're still babies, I guess, right? And they're
Yeah.
swimming in the swimming class and they seem like it's probably really good to introduce them that young, right? Because they
Yeah. I
rather
mean,
than
I
maybe a
feel
little
like
older and they get a little afraid or something.
yeah, sometimes, I almost wish that I did swimming lessons even earlier because I mean, I still love swimming, but not as much as I think some people who started out super little because, babies are great. They naturally know to like flip themselves on their back and go
right.
towards the top. So it's really just like it gives the parents, I feel like, a lot of security with their kids being in and around water because they
Hmm.
see it in action, like, okay, my kid does somewhat understand what to do. Obviously, they're there in the pool able to help them if
Yeah.
they need it. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's amazing what babies can do without us, helping them out.
Yeah, and that gives parents so much confidence, right? Because it's so dangerous for if your
Yeah.
child doesn't know how to swim, right? They fall in the water or whatever happens. It's really big danger. But I can like my mom grew up in a
Mhm.
family where no one learned how to swim. Like my mom still doesn't know how to swim. It's
Wow.
yeah. And because my and like she's too afraid now. She's too afraid to put her head under the water. It's like, wait, she went to Scaredy Cats, like this like adult swim program. Did not work. So I was like, but if she had started when she was a kid, that would,
Might have been a
completely
different.
different, completely,
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
different. So I love, so I have a little personal like love for these parents and for Pedalheads for having this
Mhm.
available to parents because I feel like it is so, so important.
I was gonna say our pools are one thing that's really nice about them is that obviously not all of our pools across BC and GTA are like this, but we have two in BC that we've actually custom built. So there's no like outside public swim happening at the same
Mm.
time. The pools are only Pedalheads people learning in our program, but are also designed to be really comfortable for kids to learn how to swim in, but also for the instructors teaching the lessons. Like for those
Mhm.
custom built pools, I think the deepest is about 5 feet, maybe it's 4. But that way, the instructors, they're
Mhm.
not treading water trying to help the kids. They can just kind of help and walk along and really focus on the kid learning those skills.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes a lot of sense.
Really, really cool, and it's such a great skill. It's a lifelong skill because then say even acknowledging how dangerous it is for kids, kids to who don't know how to swim. It's also very dangerous for anyone else who doesn't know how to swim, right? So I think it's just such an amazing skill to gain early on and just enjoy it for life, right? So I
Hmm.
think that's just wonderful. Tell us a little bit more about soccer.
Yeah, soccer is still fairly, I like to say it's still brand new almost. We started out January 1st of this year.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so it's brand new only in BC at this point. We're obviously
Mhm.
hoping to kind of expand the soccer to some of our other regions, but we're just trialing it out in BC because we actually kind of absorbed a other soccer program. It was formerly known as Happy Feet, Vancouver.
Mm, that's a cute
And they
name.
are now Pedalhead
Very cute name.
Soccer.
Okay, cool. And is that every weekend? Is that every day? How often is the soccer camp or soccer?
Yeah, the nice thing, soccer and actually also swim, they run annually. So you can actually do the soccer and swimming program throughout the school year. Typically it's like they meet once a week for
Mhm.
those ones. Sometimes there's also like weekend only lessons where they go just on Saturdays and Sundays. But yeah, soccer is also still those smaller class sizes. We really like the small ratios at Pedal Heads,
Okay.
making sure that all the kids
Yeah.
are really getting their chance to have that one-on-one connection with the instructors.
And what's
Hmm.
the age range for them?
Oh, for soccer, we have for the actual pedalhead soccer lessons, it is 4 to about 12, I think, as well. We kind of really like that same age group. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, correction, it is as young as 2. It's 2 years old for soccer.
Ah, that's so cute.
So they're little also with those ones. We like to
Yeah.
start them young, really build
Yeah.
those good, healthy experiences. So it's something that just comes natural to the kids when they grow up.
It's
Very, very
it's so
cool.
cool. And Jamie, we just this talk we can bring this to our last question because it's totally falls in aligns with that question. So, I mean, especially you're starting these kids now. I'll start from a little bit, go backtrack a little bit. We just had a summit in Toronto, and now we have the Let's Move Canada Challenge, which is going on right now for 2 weeks. And we're just trying to get, our goal is to get Canadians more active and more healthy.
Yeah.
And we had a doctor that would spoke talking about the rates of metabolic disease in kids, and they're not getting enough physical exercise and follow, the guidelines that Canada puts out. Um, so what you guys are doing is like a huge step in the right direction, huge step
Hmm.
forward, right, for kids to be physically active because I didn't actually know this, but apparently Canada, I think, had cut back on like education classes since when I was in school. Because when I was in school, it was like every single day you went to every gym class, right?
Yeah.
Physical education was like every day.
Wow.
And that's I don't think happening everywhere anymore. And and kids are not getting these physical activity requirements. So what you're doing with soccer camps and swimming and biking and starting so young is just like a huge part of what we believe in and what our mission is. So how does Pedalheads, in your own words, align with Let's Move Canada's goals and about physical activity and movement?
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to highlight is just like our mission at Pedalheads is really just to inspire kids to believe in themselves. Obviously,
Hmm.
we hope that they're learning skills and advancing, their soccer, swimming, and biking abilities. But as long as they're gaining some confidence and just understanding that like getting outside, avoiding those screens, because I know screen time is a big thing for kids nowadays. It's fun. We like being in the sunshine. Or also the rain or shine. Like if it's a rainy day, some parents are like, "Are you sure the kids are gonna bike?" And I'm like, "Why wouldn't they?" When I was a kid, I was out there in the puddles splashing around, like
Yeah.
just making sure that the kids know that you can be yourself at camp, and this is something that like everyone can move their body and learn how
Hmm.
to ride a bike or learn how to swim or go kick a soccer ball and score a goal.
I think this is wonderful. It fits in so well with the Let's Move Canada mission to make Canada the fittest nation on earth. I mean, the way to get to that, right, is it's by having fun. It's really
Yeah.
it's getting these kids
Mhm.
to feel confident through movement. I think that's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really fun organization to be a part of. And I mean, like, even our corporate, we love to stay competitive and fit in our corporate life as well. So it's like, even from the very top to the very bottom of Pedalheads, I like to say, we're all about moving and staying active.
Right, and you're doing it all the
Wonderful.
time because you're riding the
Exactly.
bikes with the kids and you're swimming and you're biking and all the things. So I love that. I love how inspiring, to making it inspiring and fun and encouraging for kids. I think it's just amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do, and thank you to Pedalheads, very specifically from Let's Move Canada, for all of the amazing ways that you're keeping these kids active and enjoying being staying active as well.
Yeah, we're just happy that parents and caregivers are choosing us and that we're able to help make the difference for these kids, Like that's all that
Mhm.
matters, that the kids are having fun and that they are building new skills.
And
Yeah.
and with that, we want to thank everyone for tuning into this episode of Let's Move Canada. We are your hosts, Dana and Luigi. And if you want to learn more about Jamie and the amazing work that Pedalhead is doing, feel free to reach out to her at jphillips@pedalheads.com. That is JPHILLIPS at pedalheads.com. Or you can follow Pedalheads on Instagram or also visit their webpage at pedalheads.com. In addition, make sure to follow us on our Instagram at Let's Move Canada for latest updates, and also head over to our website at letsmovecanada.com to learn more about our mission. Don't hesitate to DM us if you have any questions or if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast. But you can also stay tuned for next episode announcements. And thank you so much. See you guys next time.